Okay, so first we're going to start with, since Javette, since you asked about inequalities, right? So
Mm,
let me go to my study guide. I don't think they even got inequalities. We can use this one right here, right? Let's see if they got problems. This is a cheat sheet. This is for graphing, and a lot of times they're not even going to be this hard. Let's just I'll just make up. Let me go to a blank page. I'll just make up one. I got so much to go with. Let's just make up one. Let me get my pencil. So I'm gonna make up three.
okay.
Okay, so the first one, fairly simple. It's just like when you're solving an equation. The only difference is this is an inequality. You have more than one answer. When you have an equation, usually it's only one answer for a linear equation. Here, you're gonna have more than one answer. So for example, I'm gonna divide both sides by 2. I get x greater than equal to 2. That's my answer. So x could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, anything greater than or equal to 2. So you got multiple answers. That's all inequality is. Okay. How you would graph that? Now you don't have to graph on the GED. Go to 2 because it's greater than or equal to. It's a solid. Since it's greater than, it's to the right. This one's a little different, but it's the same steps. Just like any other algebraic expression or equation that you're trying to solve. What are you trying to do? When you're trying to solve an equation, you're trying to get x by itself. What we're
So,
going to do is we're going to add 4 to both sides because we had 2 terms on the right. So remember, you're looking at this side with the variable, and you want to get rid of all the other terms that don't have the x, right? So we add 4, we get 12 less than or equal to minus 2x. Again, in order to get x by itself, we got to get rid of the negative 2. So it's being multiplied by negative 2. The opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is what?
+2.
No. What's the opposite of multiplying by negative 2?
Oh, multiply. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's the division.
Dividing by negative 2.
I'm about to.
Whatever we
Okay.
do on one side, we do on the other. So the negative 2's would cancel. This is where inequality is different. So I bring that x down. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality.
Mm,
So because we divided by negative 2, we flipped the inequality. Less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. The next step is for inequality, we always want our variable on the left. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to switch the two values. So we're going to put x over here, minus 6 over here. But again, you got to switch the inequality. So it comes back to less than or equal to. So this answer will be x less than or equal to minus 6. So that means minus
mm,
6, minus 7, minus 8, minus 9, anything lower than minus 6. Same thing here. Let me put less than, right? We subtract 5 from both sides. We get minus 2x is less than or equal to 14. We divide both sides by negative 2. Again, what did I say? When you multiply or divide by a negative, switch
Yeah.
to inequality. The switches, this becomes greater or equal to, and this is minus 7. That's all inequalities. Now, you're going to have one or two. You're going to have probably a word problem, and one is going to be explicit, but you're going to have inequalities. It's going to be 1 or 2 questions. So you got to be ready. Okay?
I know I got to go over a lot of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
because the
So,
last two was like, the first one was pretty easy, but the last two,
and this is the advantage of having the video, because you
yes, you
watch it
back over it
over
again.
and over until you
Yes,
got it.
yes, definitely.
Good. Go back over here. So what I wanted to do tonight was a lot of people been having problems with slope. So let's
Mm,
start first of all with the basics. Let's go with the coordinate plane first. Let's make sure we all know how to identify a point on the coordinate plane. Okay. So let's look at this, and I'm gonna have each of you. How many here? 3. Um, Again, so Javette, Before the six, I had like 12, 13, 14, 50 people. So I'm building back up because I was kind of, I was kind of inconsistent with my dad's sick, but I'm back now. You see on the Facebook, as you saw earlier, I posted like 11 different people passing their exams today. Well, since since I haven't posted in a while, but let's start here. Let's first of all be able to identify a point on the coordinate plane. This is a guaranteed question on your exam. So remember, this is your x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. This is your y-axis. Each ordered pair looks like that. Your x first, then your y. So who wants to do point L? Who wants to tell me what the location or what's the ordered pair of point L?
I'll do
Okay.
it. It's a +7 and another +7.
That was kind of easy, okay, because you could have mixed it up and still been right. So I'm gonna give you another one. Give me F.
Um,
Give me F.
-4 and 6, or 6 and -4.
See, that's what I wanted to make sure. Remember, X is first.
Mm.
X is always first. So it's not 4, -4, 6. It's 6, -4. Got me?
Gotcha.
So since you got that wrong, give me X. What's X? What's the location or the ordered pair of X?
-9 and 8.
X before Y.
Oh, 8. 8 and
8,
-9.
8 comma -9. All right, who wants to try T?
Is it 1 and -5?
1, -5. And last but not least, I'm gonna give you a hard one. P. Mm,
Um,
mm.
is it 4 and 4?
Nope.
I mean 4 and -4?
Nope. So if it's
It's
right on the
-4.
X
It's,
axis,
it's, ne- it's negative. It's -4 and 0.
-4 and 0.
Oh,
Remember, every
oh
point
yeah,
is the
yeah.
same thing. I'm already on my X. If I go over to my Y, it's 0. Remember,
It's
your
0.
origin is 0, 0.
Mm.
Got me?
10-4.
Okay. This is a guaranteed question. It's on every single exam. So every single exam. So one of the things you want to do is look at your last score report, whether it's a practice test or the real test, and see if it said locate a point on the coordinate plane or identify order pair. This is guaranteed on your exam. I can guarantee. Okay. Next thing I want to do. How can we find the slope from an equation first? So, is this the one I want to do? No, this is not the one I want to do. I want to do not that one either. I'm sorry, I got a bunch of stuff open. That's the one I want to do right there. So, there are two forms of equations that you need to be ready for in the GED. One is slope-intercept form, and one is standard form. And this is all standard form. This is not the one I want either. I want both. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. I want both. So, can anybody tell me what slope-intercept form is?
That's where the cross or something like that. Where they
Nope.
meet.
Nope. That's
No,
that's called the y-intercept. What I'm
that's
talking about is the slope-intercept form of a linear equation. Can anybody tell me what that is? Okay, so it's
That's a y
y
equals to mx plus b.
mx plus b. You have to know this. The slope-intercept form of a linear equation is y equal mx plus b. So when I look at an equation like this, y equal mx plus b, this makes it easy for you. This is why it's called slope-intercept, because you should be able to look at this equation and tell you what the slope is. What's the slope? What's in front of the x?
3/2.
3/2.
3/2. My slope is 3/2. Matter of fact, let me get off this page. I'm gonna come back to this page. I'm gonna test y'all with this page. I'm gonna test you today. I just decided I'm gonna test you today. Stop playing. Yeah, you came here and thought you was just gonna get some tutoring today. You're gonna get tested. That's right. So let me go back. So y equal mx plus b is slope intercept form. Slope intercept form. And slope intercept form is y equal mx plus b. It has to, the form of your equation must look like this. Y equal mx plus b. So is this slope, is number one slope intercept form?
Yes.
Yes. What's the slope?
-4.
Over.
Negative 4/3.
Negative 4/3. Negative 4 over 3. Yes. Now, they're not asking for the y-intercept, but I'm going to have you do it. What's the y-intercept?
1.
Plus 1. If you get an equation in slope-intercept form, you should be able to easily, you should be able to look at it and tell me the slope and y-intercept. So for each person, now see, everybody got all these phone names. Can y'all please change your names? So I want to call you by name. So when I ask you number 1, number 2, number 3. So just right click on your box, hit rename, type your name in, click OK. And if not, then we need to go to digital literacy class with me on Fridays. Like, no, I'm kidding.
Now, where you say put it at? I thought I was on here.
Right click on your box.
3 dots.
See them 3 dots? Go to rename.
No. No, because I'm on my phone.
Can y'all see?
Okay,
Can y'all see?
I see it. I see it. I see the
Okay.
3 dots. I don't
Where
see
it
where.
says more, Professor Tinsley?
Huh?
Where it says more?
No. You know where you see where if you turn your video on, where your picture would be?
Okay.
Yes.
So right there in the upper right corner in blue, you should see 3 dots.
Okay, let me see.
Just hover your arrow over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll say mute on the top right corner. It'll be like mute, and then it'll be like 3 dots.
Oh, no, with that. Okay. Rename. Okay. Uh-huh. Let me delete this out. I had to go through it another way. That's why it came out like this.
There's more than one way to skin a cat. You can right click, you can hit the 3 dots, bunch of ways.
Hey, Mr. Tinsley, if I just make an attempt to go take that test next week, am I tripping?
Did you take your practice test?
I took it. Yeah, I took a practice test.
What'd you
I mean,
score?
I ain't take a recent one. I'm gonna take a recent one. I'm gonna take
a recent one. Take a recent one. And if you're going to take it, call me so we can do a session before you go.
All right, man, because I'm itching, man. I'm itching, man. I'm itching. I'm so for real. I know you like that, real. I don't know, real, but I mean, you know.
To me, I think you can go on my site, take the practice test. If you score on 50, 60 or above several different times, you right there to be able to pass. That's just, you know what I mean?
Because I've been locking in more on that algebra. Like that's all I've been just like focusing on. Like last week, this weekend, and this algebra, like you said.
You still ain't changed it. You ain't still put your name. You don't see the 3 dots? You on your phone?
I just see where it says stop video, and then where a picture's supposed to be. I don't see that coming up.
All right, what you want me to call you?
Brandy is fine.
Huh?
Brandy is fine.
I mean, so like Miss, just Brandy, just fine.
Yeah, that's fine, Brandy.
Okay. All right, so we ready to go. So we got Sharon, what you want me to call you? Is Sharon or Miss Sharon, Miss Treadwell?
I put my name on it.
No, so do you want me to use your whole name, just Miss, or I want to call you what you want to be called.
I thought you said for the site because I renamed myself. I just put my whole name up there.
Okay, I call you by your whole
name.
Sharon.
You can call
Okay, just Sharon. Okay, let's go. All right, so who wants to try number 2? What's the slope and y-intercept? Who wants to try number 2?
I'll do number 2.
All right, Sharon. Who said that? It's Brandy?
No.
I did.
Sharon?
Yes.
All right, what's the slope for number 2?
It's 2.
2. What's the y-intercept?
-2.
-2. Who wants to try number 3?
I'll take it.
Brandy, what's the
Yep.
slope of number 3?
-7/5.
-7/5. What's the y-intercept?
-3.
-3. I think we have Rel and Javette left. Who wants to try number 4?
I'll do it, Mr. Tensley.
What's the slope?
Slope is 1/3.
1/3. What's
And the
the
y-intercept
y-intercept?
is +3.
+3. I'm loving it. See how easy that is?
They
It's
need a
not even
hard.
hard at all.
What's a hard? They I know they pretty much. How many of these probably gonna be on the GED test?
So this is what they're going to do.
You
First
know,
of
I
all,
hate
let's let you answer first. Let's number 6. What's the slope for number
number
6?
then my slope is gonna be 5/2.
5/2. What's the y-intercept?
-4.
What they're going to do is they're going to say, what graph corresponds to this equation? They're going to say, what graph corresponds to this equation? So this is what I need. So now we quickly were able to do that. That wasn't hard. So that's the first step I wanted to show you. That's the first step. Okay. Now let me go to the graph, right? Oops, that's not the graph I wanted. Oh my goodness, I just want the graph. Well, oh, I got so much stuff open. I just want the there we go. So what they're going to say is, what graph is shown by this equation, right? So if I'm looking at number 1, okay, you're looking at it. So we just did the equation, but this is a little different. So let me find one that's easy first. Let's look at I wouldn't say easy, but we can get the y-intercept from. Let's look at number 3. No, I don't like. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, number 3 is fine. So first of all, I'm gonna ask you a question. The first question is, for number 3, is the slope of this line negative or positive?
Negative.
So Javette, you said negative. Sharon, what you say?
It's negative.
Negative. Rel, what you say?
I'll say negative.
Brandy, what you say?
Negative.
Okay, you're all 100% correct. From left to right, what direction is it going? It's going down. That's how you tell whether something is positive or negative. The second question I want you to ask yourself, what is the y-intercept? Where does this line cross the y-axis?
-1.
So Sharon, you said -1. What'd you say, Javette?
-1.
-1, Rel?
One.
And Brandy?
-1.
So now, if you were given multiple choice, the first thing you're looking at is the graphs that cross at -1, right?
Yeah.
So because they gave you 4 graphs, right? And they gave you an equation that says something x -1. The first thing you're doing is getting rid of all the ones that don't cross at -1. And I'm gonna show you an example in a minute. So remember, you need 2 things for an equation of a line. You need the y-intercept and you need the slope. Well, we got 1 point already. That's easy. Now, as I go down this line, that's a point on this line. 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 But I'm not going to pick any of those because I can't tell what x and y are from those points. Is this 0.8? Is this 1.5? I don't know what it is. Yeah. I can't tell. So I got to pick a point that's going to correspond to a whole number for x and y. So as I go down this line, oh my goodness, none of them really match up. That's a bad one too. That's a bad one too. Let's just say it crossed right here.
Look at one right there.
Let's just say it crossed right there. Which one?
The -4 and that 4.
Okay, so let's just say it crossed at 4, -4. It doesn't actually, it's a little off, but let's just say it did. Now, how do I find the slope from these 2 points? From this point here and this point here. So you should know from right now, to find the slope from a graph, I got to use rise over run. So if I start from this point, what direction do I have to go? Up or down?
Left to right.
From the 1, you got to go down.
Got to go down. Count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
3. Where you get 4?
3
Somebody said 4?
That's what it looked like, yeah.
We're going down to -4.
It's 3. It's 3.
3. Now let's go over. How many do we have to go over?
1, 2,
3,
3,
4.
4. Is
4.
negative 3 over
So,
4?
so because we went down, this is negative 3. My rise is negative 3. Because I went over to the right, my run is positive 4. So my slope of this line is what?
Negative
Negative 3 over 4
Negative
x
3 over the
minus
Question.
4.
1.
So if I know my slope is negative 3 over 4, I know my y-intercept is negative 1. What's my equation of the line?
Y equals negative 3 over 4x minus 1.
One
There you go.
question though.
Mm-hmm.
So in slope and inequalities and problems like these, will we not trying to reinvent the wheel, but will we always have to use the rise over run method?
If so, so right now, if you're given a graph,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to use the rise over run? No.
Technically,
You
no.
no. So let me show you what you could do. I wouldn't do it. What I'm showing you is the way I would do it and the way I think is the
Yeah.
easiest way to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
want to know how you doing it,
So
not how Khan
so
doing it. How
so
But
here,
see,
right?
this one,
So let's do let's 10, like right here, right? If I'm doing number 5, right? I could say, okay, this point is 0, comma 5, right? This point is 5, comma minus 5. And then I could go y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I could say y2 is minus 5, minus 5. X2 is 5, minus 0. And I get negative 10 over 5. My slope is negative 2. I could do it that way. Okay? I could. When I'm given a graph, I think it's easier because I'm already programmed my mind because every time I see a graph and I got to find a slope, I'm thinking rise over run. So I'm just going to count down 5, 10. So I went down 10, that's negative 10. I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, I'm done. Negative 2. There's no way to mess up sign numbers. So negative 2, I see my y-intercept is plus 5. Now I got my equation. Y equal minus 2x plus 5, and I'm done. It's not that you have to do it that way. You have to realize, first of all, how to use this calculator, right? Because if you identify the points correctly, you can plug this in your calculator and get the whole equation. For example, let me show you. Again, let me show you because that's what I'm about. I want to show. Everybody does not do every problem the same way, right? But I'm going to show you. So I showed you how I would do it. I would do rise over run. I found out my y-intercept. I got my equation in the line, right? Now, but you could also, if you've been using the ebook and realize how to use the calculator to your advantage, what you could also do is grab your calculator. Let me clear everything out. And put my 2 points in. I want it bigger than that. You can't see that. Over here. Put my 2 points in. I'm gonna hit data. I gotta clear that out because there's something there already. Let me clear it again. I'm sorry. Now, you might think this way is easy. Data, I'm putting both my X's in, 0 and 5. 0, enter, 5, enter. I hit my right arrow. I put my Y's in. 5, enter, negative 5, enter. Second, data, 2 variable, calculate. It depends. Whatever you practicing enough. Now I go down to my A and B. I still got the same exact thing because it's telling me right there, that's my slope. That's my y-intercept. Y equal minus 2x plus 5. Did I get the same exact thing? Yes. So one way I use the formula from the formula sheet. The second way I use rise over run and where the line crosses the y-axis, my y-intercept. The third way I use the calculator. Whatever's easiest for you. What I'm telling you, you need to be ready. The type of question they might say is they might say, okay, the equation of the line is minus 1/3 x. Let me write that down. Let me clear the screen. Let me clear the screen. Let me move my calculator. And this is what you have to realize. Because a lot of these problems don't take a lot of work. You just got to know what you're looking at. For example, they might say the equation is negative 1/3 x plus 5. And they might have 4 graphs. And they might have this. They might have this. They might have this. Or they might have this.
Real weird.
Listen, if you notice, I'm not putting numbers here, am I?
Nope.
I'm not putting numbers here, am I?
Mm-mm.
Why? Because I first of all know that it must cross my y-axis at +5. Right? So, does it cross the y-axis here at 5? No, that's 0. Can't be that one. Here it's crossing at 2. Can't be that one. Now, this one is crossing at 5, but it's a positive slope. I got a negative slope. Can't be that one. I didn't do any work and I got the answer. Just being able to identify the y-intercept and the slope is positive or negative should be able to help you remove 3 to multiple choice. It's really that simple, but you got to know what you're looking at, because what's going to happen is no matter how much you practice, no matter how much you do my site, no matter how much you know how to do the calculator, when you get to the exam, you're going to get nervous. And you're going to read a problem and it's going to feel like your brain is fried. Listen, I'm telling you what to do. If you see a problem that you've been working on my site, like for example, the type of problem, linear equation, slope from 2 lines, point and slope, quadratic equation, system of
Combining like terms.
combining like terms. Well, you got to know combining like terms. If you don't know combining like terms, you shouldn't be taking your exam. I can tell you that right now, because that's algebra.
That's what I've been like trying to lock in on.
So if you can't combine like terms, I wouldn't take my exam.
But I don't want to spend too long on that one section.
Well, if you're gonna spend the time on a section, combine like terms is it. So we'll go over the combine like terms in a minute. But what I'm saying is, this is what you have to learn how to do. Let me go back to here. Like for example, go to this review sheet. This right here, you should be able to find the slope of these lines. You should know that 1 is positive, 2 is negative, 3 is positive, 4 is negative. You should be able to get rid of 2 of the multiple choice just because you know it's positive and negative. For example, you should know from these equations, you should know this is slope-intercept form. You should know slope is -5/4, y-intercept 3. Slope is -1/2, y-intercept is 2. Slope is -3/4, y-intercept is 0. Slope is -5/3, y-intercept is +5. If you can't see that right away, then you don't know it. Now, for 9, 10, 11, and 12, you should know that you got to use this formula. So when you see 2 points, you should know y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You should know that my first point, this is my x1, this is my y1. This is my x2, this is my y2. And then you just plug them in. What you should also know, that if you have my ebook, you didn't even know how to do this problem. Because if they give you 2 points, you should know and practice enough, because what am I telling you? You're going to have an equation of a line from 2 points. You're going to have it. It's guaranteed. So you got to know to say, okay, I know how to put 2 points in this calculator. I need to put my x's first. 3 enter, -4 enter. Go to my right side and put my 2 points in. -4 enter, -5 enter. I don't need to know anything to put 2 points in the calculator. That's just me practicing. Oops, that's a +4. But how did I know that? Because I look at the point. I look at my first row. 3, 4, -4, -5. It's easy. Second data, 2 variable, calculate. I'm looking for lowercase a for my slope. So look at that number. That's a crazy number. That's a 10. I don't know what that is. You're 100% right. Write it down. 12857144286. That's a 10. Why would I do that? Because I already told you 1,000 times. Go over my ebook. I'm gonna show you how to do everything in here, right? So I'm gonna write that down. 1.2857144286. I'm gonna convert it to a fraction. Bow, 9/7. My slope is 9/7. With no work. Nothing to do. Easy. But again, listen, don't rush. What I told you to do when you purchase that ebook, take 2 weeks to go through and learn how to use the calculator. Do the practice problems. Then as you're coming to GED Math Monday and you start taking these practice assessments, you start taking these quizzes, you start taking the practice tests, what'll happen is you'll learn that you don't have to learn this by scratch and plug in y2 minus y1 over. You can do it with the calculator. Why am I going to waste my time? But the reason why I want you to learn how to do it is so you have an understanding. Once you have the understanding, oh, you know what? I'm using my calculator for these problems. Any problems, they're going to give me 2 points and they want the slope of the equation. I already know how to do that. And that's one of the most difficult problems on your exam. It's one of the most difficult problems on your exam.
Which one? This one?
Yes. They're going to ask you either the slope or they're going to do this to you. I'm going to show you. Watch this. And why did you close up on me? Ah, my goodness. Hold on. It just closed up on me. Review. Listen, I can't tell you enough. Trying to learn 12 years of math in a couple months. I'm trying to show you how to do it. I'm trying to tell you how to do it. Go through the ebook first. Learn how to use the calculator. Because as you're learning how to use the calculator, I'm showing you the basic concepts, how to do all the math. I'm showing you how to do it. So then
And
as you
you got to
start
make
taking the assessments and you learn how to use the calculator, all of it will be easy. Let me show you a problem what they give you, for example. Okay. They're not going to ask you for the equation of the line. They're going to give you the equation. They're going to ask you to pick the graph. So if I said for 31, right? No, 31 is too easy. I hate when they do that. They put the slope as 1. Let me try to. Slope is 1. Oh, these are all horrible. Never mind. See how I can look at them and I know? I can look at them and know. So they'll do something like this. Write the equation of the line from these 2 points. Now, how would I do this? I would say, okay, I got 2 points. Okay, first I got to find the slope. You should know that. If you don't know it, look on your formula sheet. But what you should know is that each point has its own designation. So since this is the first point, it's going to be x1 and y1. This is my second point, x2 and y2. I got to find the slope. Minus 5, which is y2, minus y1, which is 2. x2, which is 0, minus from the formula, x1, which is 5. So I get minus 7 over minus 5. 2 negatives make a positive. That's 7/5. Okay? Listen, this is what they want you to do. This is why this is considered one of the hardest problems on the exam. Then y equals mx plus b. Take a point. My y is 2. My slope is 7/5 times x, which is 5, plus b. The 5's cancel. I get 2 equals 7 plus b. I subtract 7 from both sides. Minus 5 equals b. Listen, it took me 3 minutes to do this problem. So the y-intercept is -5. The slope is 7/5. Y equals 7/5 x minus 5. That's the equation of the line. Right? That's the equation of the line. That's a difficult problem. Let me prove it to you. Number 55. Number 55. What did we get for 55? I'm going to prove it to you. Number 55. 55. Here you go. Y equals 7/5 x minus 5. Now, this is what I'm telling you. And this is what you need to understand. Watch this. That took me 3 minutes as your teacher. It took me 3 minutes. Watch this. 55. Watch this. Grab my calculator. Let me grab it. Let me clear everything out. Data, let me clear everything out. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Take your time to learn how to use this calculator. I'm guarantee you, if you learn how to use this calculator, you're going to pass the exam. Put my X's in the first column. 5, enter, 0, enter. Put my Y's. 2, enter, -5, enter. Second, data, 2 variable, calculate. You can keep saying it till you know it. Go down to A and B. Go down to A and B. My slope is 1.4. My M equal 1.4. My B equal -5. Oh, Mr. Tinsley, but the answers give me an improper fraction. That's okay, because I know how to use my calculator. 1.4, 7/5. So my slope is 7/5. How long did that take me? My slope is 7/5. My y-intercept is -5. Y equal 7/5 x -5. I'm now done. 30 seconds at the most. And this is what I'm talking about. What happened is people are taking too much time to try to learn all this from scratch. Listen, if you didn't understand slope a year ago, you probably don't understand slope now. Right? So what you're going to have to do is you got to say, okay, well, if I look at my practice test, I looked at my real test, and I realized I missed 5 to 7 questions in linear equations. I'm going to go to Mr. Tinsley's site. I'm going to use this calculator. I'm going to use this calculator, and I'm not going to move until I understand linear equations. Until I got 70 or above, 80 or above. That's how it has to be for next
He
station.
said, I'm not moving until I got a 70 or 80 above whatever.
Because I'm telling you, listen, algebra is 55% of your grade. Linear equations anywhere from 5 to 10 questions. I'm telling you, if you don't understand linear equations, you're probably not going to pass the exam. But what am I doing? I'm giving you how to do it. Watch this. I mean, literally. Listen, I had this problem right here. Watch this. I had this problem right here. Watch this. Let me go to my Chrome. Just open up. Watch this. And the person sent me an email, sent me a video, and said, I don't know how to do this problem. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. So this is a practice test GED gives you. She videotaped it. I was like, Mr. Tinsley, I found this test. I didn't know how to do this problem. Please help me. I spent the whole weekend. Look what it says. Okay. A scientist is studying blah, 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 blah. What you should say is, hold on, Mr. Tinsley told me to read the question first. Okay, so let me make this a little
right, man.
we can see
But
this
these
small
problem
thing.
right here, boy.
So the scientist plots the data for tree 2 on a coordinate grid. She begins by plotting data for year 3 and year 11. What are the locations of the 2 points on the coordinate grid? Click on the grid to plot the points. This is easy. I just told you how to do X and Y, but let's make sure we understand. Let's look at it. We got to understand it doesn't tell you X and Y, does it? They don't tell you anywhere X and Y. You have to understand that X is the independent variable, Y is the dependent. So this is my X, this is my Y. So talking about tree 2, which is tree 2 right here, year 3 and 11, year 3 and 11. All you're doing is plotting the points, 3 and 12. 3 and 12. 11 and 14.4. 14.4 is like in the middle. That's it. That's the easiest, one of the easiest problems. That's just plotting on the coordinate plane. Easy. But this is not the problem she had.
It's the other one.
Now that's easy. And everybody spends time on these questions. Let me go to the next one. It's this one. It says, look at the question. The scientist creates an equation. Oh, linear equation that models the data for each tree so that you can predict the diameter in the future. Complete a linear equation that fits the tree for data 1. Identify your givens. They want a linear equation for tree 1. Y
Mm-hmm.
equal mx plus b. That's what you should be thinking about when I hear linear equation, where x is the year and y is the trunk. Well, now they told us what xy it is. Xy. You should know right away. Oh, this is 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using my calculator. Because when you got all these decimals, do you understand how hard this problem is going to be? You literally doing m equal y2 minus y1 over x2
Mm-hmm.
minus x1. I'm going to use these 2 points. 19.2 minus 18.6. 3 minus 1. What's that? 0.6 divided by 2. My slope is 0.3.
Right. Yeah.
Then you got to take that slope. And you got to take one of these points
One
with
of
the
them points.
decimals. And then you got to figure out your equation. What I'm telling you is this 5-minute problem that you're going to spend all day, bite your nails off, pull your hair out. You don't need to learn how to do. All you need to know how to do. If I get 2 points, I don't care if it's an ordered pair. I don't care if it's a table. I don't care if it's a graph. If I get 2 points, I'm grabbing my calculator because I'm getting my equation easy. Watch this.
So in that problem, it was up to you to choose whichever points that you wanted to choose.
Well, remember, a linear equation is a constant rate of change. You could pick any 2 points. So watch, data, I'm going to clear the data out. I'm going to put my X's, 1 and 3. 1, enter, 3, enter. Hit my right arrow to put my 2 Y's in. 18.6, enter, 19.2, enter. Second, data, 2 variable, calculate. Keep saying it so when you get to your test, it's easy money. Go down to lowercase a and lowercase b. Boom. My A is my slope. My B is my y-intercept. My equation is y equal 0.3x plus 18.3. Easy money, 15 seconds. I'm done. I'm feeling good about myself. I know I'm going to pass this test because when I did this at home, this problem took me 10 minutes. Y equal 0.3x plus 18.3. I'm done. I'm trying to listen. Can't spend all day on these concepts. But what you have to spend all day on, what you have to score 75 over, whole numbers, fractions, decimals, percents, ratio and proportions, algebra. Almost everything else I show you. And I still show you how to do those things with the ebook because you only cannot use your calculator in the first 5 problems. That means you got 35 to 40 questions you can use your calculator for. I give you so much practice. Get to the practice test. I just posted when the guy passed, took it from Canada. He said, Mr. Tinsley, the test is much harder. They can't even use this calculator. And I showed him. He's like, Mr. Tinsley, I know how to do it now. I'm ready. I'm confident now. I'm ready. Went and passed. So again, this is my point I'm trying to tell you. It ain't no rush. Don't rush yourself. What you're doing is, the first thing I would advise you to do, whole numbers, fractions, decimals, percents, ratio and proportions, algebra, 70 or above. I would, if it was up to me, I'd say 80 or above. But for the GED, 70 or above. Once you go to your algebra, make sure you do your algebra. You score the same thing. I would try to get an 80. Why?
Whole numbers, percentage, fractions, ratios, and algebra.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I
Because then the ebook, I show you how to do quadratic equations, system of equations, linear equations, all with the calculator.
Yeah.
All with the calculator. Like this review right here. This is 100 questions, right? But it gets to the point you should be able to look at, if you can't look at linear equations and know it, that means you ain't practiced enough. That means you don't know it. What happens is, I'm going to tell you what people's issue are with mathematics. They remember how to do it and don't know why they do it. So when they get to a word problem, they don't know, okay, I know how to do the computation, but why would I use that here?
Right.
So that's what you have to ask yourself. So when you look at that practice test that I just showed you right here, the question says complete a linear equation.
Any
It's
of them,
telling
any
you.
matter. It's like anything, it don't even matter. It's just
When you
create
look
one.
at this, look at the question. To the nearest square foot, how many square feet of wrap does she need? But you have to, that this is surface area, it covers, right? Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Again, here, the graph shows a level ibuprofen that paints his bloodstream after the ibuprofen was taken. You got to know how to read a graph. This title, ibuprofen level in patient's bloodstream. My x-axis, time since the ibuprofen was taken. Ibuprofen level. So you got to see that the ibuprofen is high before hour one.
Mm-hmm.
After hour one, it starts to go down.
Goes
That's
down.
common sense. That's just reading a graph. So the level of ibuprofen in the patient increased from
0.
0 to that's not 1. That's 1 hour. So it has to be before 1. This is the easiest
Mm-hmm.
problem on the exam. It's no math. Just understanding. So what has to happen is you have to practice. You have to practice. And this is why I made the GED math course. It ain't just about whether you understand what your score is. I'm putting enough word problems there so you're comfortable. So when you see a word problem, it's no issues. It's no issue. That's an easy problem right here. When I first gave this problem, then almost the entire everybody in this GED Math Monday, only one person got this right. Only one person got this right. Why? Because right here is the issue. Everybody knows the volume of a cone is, first of all, that's a circle. 1/3 pi r squared h. Or
Mm-hmm.
volume equal pi r squared h divided by 3. I like this one because I can put in my calculator nice and easy. But the problem is everybody takes this number and plug it in for r. You got to understand that from one side through the center to the other side is called a diameter.
Yep.
So when I tell people that diameter is 8, they say the radius is 4. When I say
Mm-hmm.
the diameter is 16, they say the radius is 8. When I say the diameter is 2, they say the radius is 1. When I say the diameter is 2 3/4, they say the radius, I have no idea what it is. That's because you're not having a full understanding of what it is. You have to understand that the radius is half.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if they give it to you in decimals. I don't care if they give you in a mixed number. I don't care what it is. So you have to go with what you know. So in this case, I'm going to grab my calculator. Stop playing. I don't even know why people wasting their time. Half of 2 3/4. Who knows what half of 2 3/4 is? I don't know. Well, I do know,
I
but
think there's
most people don't know.
1375.
But if you don't know what you do, what I do know, is when I want to find half of something, I divide it by what?
2.
2. That's what 1/2 is. 1 divided
Divided
by
by
2.
2. Yep.
Anytime I want to find half of something, I divide it by 2. But Mr. Tinsley, how do I put 2 3/4 and divide that by 2? I don't do that. So you don't have
Change
to.
it.
What did I
Nope.
tell you? Fraction, decimal, percent, equivalent.
2.75
2.75 divided by 2.
by 2.
Now I got my radius,
There you
1.375.
go.
So now I take my formula, I hit ND, I say 3.14 times 1.375 squared
7.9.
times H, which is 4, divided by 3. Now, that impossible problem just became easy. Just became easy. Because you have to have a conceptual understanding of what's happening. So every single question, you should be going in, what do I know? I know the diameter is 2 3/4. I know the height is 4. I need to find the volume. So what do I know about the diameter? I know to find the radius, I need half. To find half of anything, I divide it by 2. Because most people, again, let me save this and clear it. Because there's ways, again, I keep telling you, this, I don't know, I can't say it enough times. Take the 2 weeks to learn how to use this calculator. Because why? Watch this. Watch this. 2 3/4 divided by 2. Change it to a decimal. 1.375. Change 2 3/4 to a decimal. 2.75. Divided by 2. But what happens is when you get to a test, I'm going to tell you, this is what happens. I'm telling you. When you get to a test and you see the diameter is 2 3/4, and you are used to doing in class taking half, and you're sitting like, oh my God, how do I do half of, oh my God, do I got to change it to an improper fraction? Oh my God, I hate fractions. Then your mind start going crazy. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
This is what happens to you. What you got to realize, oh, this is easy. Because this is how you would do it the long way. You would say, okay, 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3 is 11 over 4, right? Divided by 2. Well, division of fractions is you multiply and you flip. 11 over 4 times 1 over 2. Multiply across, you get 11 over 8. 8 going 11 one time, you got 3 left. Since I know my common fractions, I know 1/8 is 0.125. I know 3/8 is 0.375. That took too much time. Well, you could have just said 2.75 divided by 2. Got your radius and plug it into the formula. So what I would say, this would be my suggestion. You take 2 weeks. You don't have to understand fully every concept. But as you're going through the ebook, I'm explaining the things to look for. So when you take your exam, you're going to be ready for the exam. This is why people that fail 17 times, 10 times, 12 times, 7 times, 8 times, they're passing. There is no fast way to pass the test. It's still going to take work. So what I'm telling you to try to do, in 30 to 60 days, I'm going to have you pass. Now, what I'm saying is go through the ebook for 2 weeks. What if it take you longer than 2 weeks? Okay, so what? First thing is going to happen. Spend an hour a day going through the ebook. How to change fractions, decimals to percents. How to do squares, square roots, cube, and cube roots. Do your exponents, right? Your Pythagorean theorem, right? So many ways in the ebook that these difficult problems that they give you in a test, I'm going to show you how to do them in 15 seconds. I mean, less than a minute. Less than a minute. I'm going to show you how to do the most difficult problems in less than a minute. So if you know your algebra, you know your ratio proportions, you know that, and you practice enough on the site, you'll know when you see a question what type of question it is. That's a volume question right there. This is an algebraic expression. I see no equal sign. You should be able to look at a problem when you see it. This is a table chart and graph. This is an equation of a line. This is coordinate plane. This is a percent problem. You're going to have a percent problem. Well, watch this. Again, identify what you know. I make $285 per week plus 8% commission rate on sales. If he sells 4,213 worth of merchandise, how much was total earnings for the week be? Oh my God, I don't know how to do this problem. Oh my Lord. Well, this is what I'm going to do. Watch this. I'm going to do this. I know 10% because Mr. Tennessee showed me how to do 10%. That's easy. Just move my decimal point. So I know it's 421. That's too much. It's going to be a little less than that, plus my 285. So I already know I'm about $600 or $700, right? Bank, bank, bank. I got my answer. I'm done. I ain't even do the work. I just estimated. Now, how would you do it algebraically? Let me show you. Grab my calculator. Okay, and these are the things when you're practicing and you know and you have a conceptual understanding. then you know what you're looking for. You have to know to find part. I need to multiply whole times my percentage. I don't know what's going on with my calculator. I can't clear it. There we go. My whole times my percent, right? But I also know 8% is close to 10%. I also know that these numbers aren't really close to each other. $110 difference is that's a large amount. They're not close. So if I know I make 285 no matter what, right? 10% of 4,000 is 4,213. I can do that in my head. I can look at that and see if I move that decimal point one place is $421.
Yeah.
So 421 and 285, again, I can estimate 400 plus 300.
Yep.
You know it's bigger than 6. It's only one number that's close to 6, 622. But let's do it. Watch this. 4213 times 0.08, because you got to change that percent to a decimal, 337.4 plus 285. Look at that. But common sense tells me. I know. Again, this is what people get all confused. If I got to find a commission, I need to find a part of a number. 8% of 4213. I'm not even doing 8% because when I look at these answers, they're not even close to each other. So I'm going to estimate. I'm going to take 10%, move that decimal one place. That's 421. That's close to 300. So my answer has to be close to 700. It's only one number that's even close to 700. Done. That's 5 seconds. But this is how you do it on a calculator. 4,213 times 8%. So you're going to get how much commission you made, which is $337.04, plus the 285 you guaranteed no matter what you sell. Add them two together, 622.04. That's how they want you to do it algebraically or mathematically. But to me, I'm looking at this because what did I tell you? Identify your givens. Look at your question. I already know the multiple choice. I'm looking at them answers. I already know what it is. I could have looked at that and said it's 622. But this is where you get to when you do percents enough, when you can do 10%. Remember I told you, know your multiplication table. Know your fraction, decimal, percent equivalents. Know your square roots, your cube roots. There's certain concepts that are called mental math that you have to be comfortable with without using a calculator. Because when you have the mental math capabilities, math starts to become a little bit easier because you start doing things without having to rely, writing it down with scrap paper, using a calculator, right? So this is why in the course, I got a whole section that says the power of 10. Why? Because that's going to help you find 10% of a number. It's going to help you do scientific notation. Those are nowhere on the GED, but it's a skill that will help you in a lot of math, right? So when you look at these questions, everybody wants to rush to take this test. Listen, let me tell you something. Okay, there's two things going to happen. You're going to rush, and if you fail, you're going to beat yourself up. I know I shouldn't have did it. Now I got to wait 60 days. Oh, let me get. Listen, take 2 to 4 weeks, 2 weeks, go through that eBook, learn how to use that calculator, then go through the math course. Math, whole numbers, fractions, decimals, percents, ratio and proportions should take you about 2 to 3 days. If it doesn't, that means you're not ready. If you can't get whole numbers, fractions, decimals, percent, ratio and proportions done in 3 days on my course, that means you need to study some more. You're not ready to take the exam. Why? Simple things. For example, you talked about watch this, 2x minus 3 minus 7x plus 4x. Combining like terms. You got to know the distributive property. 2x minus 6 minus 7x plus 4x. You have to know when you combine in like terms, you're looking for the same variable. X, X, X. All I'm doing is looking at the coefficients. Minus 7 plus 4 and plus 2. Minus 7 plus 6 is minus 1. So that's minus X. The Those are two like terms. Minus 6 and plus 4, that's minus 2. So all that simplifies the minus x minus 2. That's something you should be able to do just like that. If you got to think about the distributive property, you don't know the distributive property yet. Anything on the outside of that parentheses means I need to multiply everything inside. So when I see a problem like this, again, these are all practice GED problems. These are all things that they give you to say, listen, this is what we need you to understand before you take your exam. Watch this. Where's the study? There we go. Watch this. Again, the distributive property. These are all things. That's a hard one. Most people get that wrong. Right? Hold on. Let me do the easy one first. This one. Most people get this wrong. This has to be the easiest problem in the whole exam. If you go to most people practice tests, it'll say add, subtract, multiply, and factor linear expressions. The reason why is I'm telling you, for algebraic expressions, for evaluating algebraic expressions, for subtracting or adding expressions, they're going to have a negative. They want to see if you know your sign numbers. So when that negative is on the outside of that parentheses, this turns to 3x minus 4y. This negative changes the sign of everything inside. Gotta know that. You don't have to multiply. A minus on the outside of parentheses changes the sign of everything inside. If it's a minus 2, it still changes the sign. Just multiply by 2. So this is minus 4x plus 3y. You got to know these are like terms. Why? Because they share the y. That's minus y. Minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1, which is minus y. 3x minus 4x. You got to know those are the like combining like terms. 3 minus 4 is minus 1, so this is minus x. This whole answer is minus x minus y. And most people get that wrong. Why? Not because, I don't know why they get it wrong, but most of the time they get it wrong because they don't know that that negative outside that parentheses means change the sign of everything inside. That minus on the outside of that parentheses is really multiplying by -1. Mental math tells me if I multiply any number by -1, I'm changing the sign. Let's do it. 4 times minus 1 is minus 4. 5 times minus 1 is minus 5. So if I multiply anything by -1, it's just changing the sign. You don't have to do any work anymore. Most people don't know that. Why? Because that's the mental math part that I'm talking about. They try to remember everything. Oh, I got to multiply. How do I, this minus sign? What do I, oh my God. Nah. Then you get yourself all flustered. Same thing here. Look at this problem. What does it clearly say?
Multiply.
The distributive property means I'm going to multiply this term by everything else in the other parentheses. That's what distributive property means. 2x times 3x. That's 6x squared. How do I know? Because I got to understand the exponent rules. If I don't know the exponent rules, I can't multiply binomials. I got to know 2 times 3 is 6, but x times x is x squared. You got to know that because you got to know your exponent rules. So 6x squared, that means I can get rid of this one. I can get rid of this one already. 2x times y. 2xy. Remember?
Yeah.
Alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm.
Minus y times 3x is minus 3xy.
Mm-hmm.
They put this minus y first because they want you to put minus 3yx so you don't know to combine those two terms. Remember, 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3. It doesn't matter what order you put it in, but in algebra, there's a certain way. It should be highest degree first in alphabetical order. So x before y. Then minus y times y is minus y squared.
Plus
So this
y
comes
squared.
out to 6x squared minus 3xy minus y squared. One of the most missed questions on the exam right there.
Mm-hmm.
You should be laughing all the way to the bank. Why? Because first of all, let me explain it now. So let me tell you the mental math part of it. That when I look at this problem, how I know this is A. My first term is 3x squared. My last term is minus y squared. Bang, bang, bang. I'm done. Why? Because there's no other term here that's going to give me an extra y or extra x.
Mm.
I'm already done. But that's what happens when you understand a concept. Now, watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Watch this. Let me see if I can do factor quadratic equation. Now we just multiplied binomials, right? Watch this. Let me see. Watch this. Let me see. They got any quadratic equations on here? Nah, they only got one. I'm gonna have to make up one. Watch this. If they said factor, let's do x squared. Let's do minus 3x minus 18, right?
Okay.
Is it x minus 6 times x minus 3, x minus 6 times x plus 3, x plus 6 times x plus 3, x plus 6 times x minus 3. To me, when I'm looking at this factor,
The
I'm
last
not
one.
trying to factor this. It takes me too long to factor this. I'm going to multiply. So the first thing I'm going to look at is x times x is x squared. But what I'm going to look at is the last term. Minus 6 times minus 3 is positive 18. Can't be A.
Mm-hmm.
6 times 3 is positive 18. Can't be A.
It's
Can't be
B.
C. So now, at least if I don't even know how to factor this, at least now I'm to a 50-50 chance. But then, x squared plus 3x minus 6x minus 18. I already know this is bigger. X squared minus 3x minus 18. I'm done. B.
Okay.
And the only way you're able to do this, because you might be sitting there thinking, I can't do that fast, Mr. Tinsley. I've been studying this for this 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, a year. I still not do it. What happens is you have to have a conceptual understanding. So first of all, go through the ebook, understand how to use that calculator, because I'm going to show you how to make those harder problems easy. The second thing you're going to do is make sure that you understand the basic foundational concepts of math. Because if I haven't shown anything, so what happens is when you, for example, let me just give you a quick example. If somebody walked up to you on 15th and Market and he was dressed like a hobo, and he said, I got some financial advice for you, would you take it?
Mm-hmm.
Would you take it?
Well, yeah.
To be honest, no.
If somebody got out of a Maybach Benz with a Rolex watch, with a
Nope.
$5,000 suit, and he gave you a card and said, I'm a head of a financial services, would you take advice from him?
Nope.
Yes.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. No, because I wouldn't trust him. I think he is up to something. No, I wouldn't trust him.
I
But
Yeah, I'm
my
go to
serious.
hobo.
I would.
but
For the sake of the,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, I
for the
would. I
sake of
would
the
listen
question,
to.
for most
I'll
intents
do
and
it.
purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, this person to me dressed like this doesn't appear to be successful. I'm not going to take his financial advice. And the reason why I say that because I'm thinking of that movie Trading Places, when at the end they would turn the bums, but they were geniuses in the stock market. Anyway,
Yes.
Yeah, the
but
Right.
homo
but
sound
Yeah.
better.
in the end, but my point is, the best way is to be prepared. So when people talk to you and they give you information, if you don't know
Mm-hmm.
about that information, just like this exam, a lot of people are not ready for this GED exam. Many of us don't know what a quadratic equation is, or ever used a quadratic equation, or never used a system of equations. But that's okay, because what I'm telling you is, so now I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face. But then you're going to say, hold on, He helped 300 people pass the GED math exam. Let me start believing what he got to say. Because why? The proof is in the pudding. I'm telling you things that are going to benefit you and you're going to pass the exam. Now, you can not listen and be hard-headed. You can. That's up to you because we all adults. But if somebody told me, hold on, you telling me, Mr. Tins, I can go over this ebook for 2-3 weeks. I'm going to go over this ebook. I can understand how to use it. Then I can use your free math course to practice. When I'm 70, 75 over, I'm going to move to the next section. And then Mr. Tinsley, hold on, you got 12, 10, 12, 14 practice exams, Mr. Tinsley? All it takes from your side is investment of your time. I'm already giving you everything you need to do to pass this exam. All I need is your time. And that's a half an hour to an hour every day. Listen, this is why I don't listen, even though I charge for the ebook, this is why I say, if you don't pass and you show me you came to class, know how to use the calculator, you took the practice test, and you fail, your money is, I will give you your money back and I will tutor you till you pass it. Why? Because I'm almost sure that you'll pass. And as Javette was actually in my class, I've had people from K through 2 math levels pass their GED exam. K through 2, they started with me at a kindergarten to 2nd grade math level. And because of this is why I even created the ebook. So again, I need you to understand, first of all, that by knowing your whole numbers, fractions, decimals, percents, ratio, proportions, you're building a foundation of mathematics. By knowing your multiplication tables, by knowing your fraction, decimal, percent equivalents, by knowing your square roots, your cube, and your cube roots, what you're doing is you're starting the journey of what's called mental math. Math that you can look at and you know right away. So this is why when we went over the slopes, this is where we started from. What did I say? You should be able to look at slope-intercept form and give me the slope-intercept form and give me the slope and y-intercept. You should be able to know y equal mx plus b. My slope is 3/2, my y-intercept is 3. This is slope-intercept form. My slope is 1/4, my y-intercept is -2. Number 3 is not slope-intercept form. So I can't do what I just did for those previous 2. But number 4 is. My slope is 3/2, my y-intercept is +3. So that's what we started this night. I wanted you to make sure you're able to, from an equation, slope-intercept form, identify the slope and y-intercept. That's mental math. There's no computation done. You can look at it and know slope and y-intercept. Now, next week now, we're going to get here because I'm going to give you a shortcut.
Standard form.
I'm going to give you a shortcut. This is called standard form. And if you can't wait till next week, I got a video on my site. But I give you a nice, easy way. The slope of this is AX plus BY equals C. A is 4, B is 3, C is 3. So minus A means the opposite of A, -4 over 3. My slope is -4/3. My y-intercept is C over B. 3 divided by 3 is 1. I'm done. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. You telling me that's how easy it is? If you're the 2 forms of an equation you need for your GED is slope-intercept form and standard form. Those are the easiest ways I can show you how to get slope and y-intercept just by looking at it. And you practice until you got it. So when you get a worksheet or you go on my site, it might not look the same, right? But you're going to do it until you have a full understanding. Because again, these 10 problems will take me 20 seconds. Because I can look at this. I'm going to take the opposite of this. +4 over 3, slope 4/3. -6 over 3, -2. -7 over 4, slope. 16 over 4, 4. -7/3, +4. -1/3, 1. Minus 5/3 is the slope. The y-intercept is 8. Positive 7/2 is the slope. The y-intercept is 4, 8/2. Hold on, Mr. T. Hold on. I'm not that smart, Mr. T. I can't. No, this is what happens. Once I show you how to do it, you practice till you got it. Why? Because now you're not remembering, you know it. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, each time you come to a problem, you will say, oh, y equal mx plus b. I mean, y equal 3/2 x plus 3. That's slope intercept form. Write it down. Y equal mx plus b. Oh, the slope is whatever in front of x. Oh, my slope is 3/2. My b is plus 3. Okay. What people do is they say, they look at a problem like this and say, oh, what's in front of the x? Oh, the slope is 4. No, that's not in front. The slope was in front of x only for slope intercept form. But what people remember, oh, what's that in front of x is the slope. Instead of saying the steps, what form is this linear equation in? Is it in slope intercept form or is it in standard form? So my first question is, this is in slope intercept form. My slope intercept form is y equal mx plus b. My slope is whatever in front of x. My slope is 3/2. Whatever's left, the remaining term that's left is my y-intercept plus 3. Okay. Y equal 1/4 x minus 2. Oh, that's slope intercept form, which is y equal mx plus b. Whatever's in front of the x is my slope. My slope is 1/4. Whatever's left is my y-intercept minus 2. Oh, this is not slope intercept form. This is standard form. So Mr. Tinsley gave me a shortcut to figure out the slope. The slope is the opposite of a over b. So a is 4. The opposite of 4 is -4 over b, which is 3. My slope is -4/3. That's the first step. So what did we do first? We said, okay, how do you find the slope from a graph? Rise over run. How to find a slope from an equation? I just gave you both the ones you're going to be responsible for: slope intercept and standard form. How to find a slope from 2 points? I showed you how to do it by hand. I showed you how to use the calculator. So look what we did in one night. We found a slope from a graph, slope from an equation, slope from 2 points, and we also did slope from a table. Because what did I show you? I showed you if you're given a table that's really 2 points, plug it into your calculator. So if you look at your practice test or your last test and you see that you got slope wrong, you should watch this video and every video that got to do on my website until you got it. Because most people miss the 5 to 10 questions that's on linear equations on the GED exam. And then you go on my site and you practice. You practice and you practice it. So then when next Monday come, or you text me or email me before that, or you wait till next Monday and say, I got a question. I did this, I did this, I did this. This is the problem. Why did I get this wrong? And then I show you. Then you say, oh, I got it now. There's no easy way to pass this GED Math exam. What I found out is by showing students how to use the calculator. Because even if you do this, watch this. Even if you do this, okay, watch this. Let me make this nice and big real quick. And this is going to be the last thing we do for tonight. But I want to show you. Even if we do this, let me make this bigger, nice and big, so we can see it. Right? And I go here and I say, okay, AX plus BY equals C. If you notice it, I know this, but I keep saying it. I keep repeating it. That's the same thing you should be doing. A is 4. Matter of fact, let me try another one. Let me see when one is minus. Because a lot of times people have problems with negative numbers. Here go one right here. Perfect. I love it. This is not slope intercept form. This is standard form. AX plus BY equals C. My A is -4. My B is +3. My C is -6. That is not hard to figure out. You don't have to be a NASA scientist to figure out a coefficient, the number in front of the X, the number in front of the Y, and the one is by itself. You don't have to be a scientist to figure that out. That's easy. Okay. M equal the opposite of A, B. Keep saying it. Okay. So if A is -4, the opposite of -4 is what? +4. Boom. B is 3. The slope of this line, 4/3. I'm done. So what you'll notice is after you do these steps, after you identify standard form, after you identify A, B, and C, once you do this 5 or 10 times, this is what you'll do. Oh, opposite of A, +4/3. Slope done. 5 seconds. And y-intercept, -6/3, -2. If I want to know what this form slope equation line is in slope intercept, y equal 4/3 x -2. Bam. That's where you want to get to. That's where the mental math comes from. Where you look at it and say, oh, +4/3, slope of 4/3. Y-intercept -6/3, -2. If I wrote this equation slope intercept form, y equal 4/3 x -2. If you notice, I'm saying those vocabulary terms out loud. Javette could tell you, my class was loud. I like people talking in my class. Why? Because I need you to understand the material. I need you saying it, hearing it, writing it. Matter of fact, I had one lady, after she passed it, right before she passed the test, she said, Mr. Tinsley, I woke up and my husband was like, you were saying y equal mx plus b, y equal mx plus b in her sleep. Why? Because if you don't understand the brevity of the situation, if you don't understand how important it is for you to get this diploma that is going to take sacrifice, that's on you. You got to realize, hold on. He's telling me I can take a half an hour to an hour a day for the next 30 to 60 days, and I'm going to pass this math and have my diploma. You got to give something up. You got to sacrifice something. Or you'll be sitting here 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 years, 2 years, 3 years. It has to be a consistent time that you mark out of your schedule and you say, there is no other time. I'm going to get it now because I went to these other adult education centers. I've seen these other tutors. I've seen these other teachers. I never met a person that every person that took the math exam, they passed. So I must be in the right place. Now it takes the dedication on your side to give yourself, to invest in yourself 30 minutes to an hour a day. And I know we got work. I know we got kids, but you put it in your schedule. So for example, say you got break time. Bring your lunch to work and work on your square, square roots, cube roots, your fraction, decimal, percent equivalents. On your lunch break, bring your lunch and work on an assessment in Canvas while you at lunch. Excuses are tools of incompetence, and those that use them seldom accomplish anything. Stop making excuses. If I can have somebody with a kindergarten math level, passed this, he started with me in February. He took his test in November, and he started on a kindergarten math level. You can do it too. Stop doubting yourself. Are you going to get problems wrong? Are you going to cry because things seem too difficult? Yes. That's where you take a break, you text me, you email me, or you write the question down for me to go over on Monday or whatever you want to do, text or call. If it's too hard, stress it. Do something you know you can do. Why? Because that's the test. Easy, medium, hard. I want you to get in the habit. If you see a problem, listen, look at the post I put on Facebook tonight. This man took the test 7 times. He said, I took your advice, Mr. Tinsley. I concentrated on the easy and medium problems. I skipped all the difficult problems. Finished the exam, came back to the difficult problems, did the ones I could do. The rest I couldn't do. I selected the same letter on all of them. And I was done 30 to 40 minutes early, Mr. Tinsley. Thank you. I'm done. In Canada. In Canada. Excuses are tools of incompetence. And those that use them seldom accomplish anything. Once you prove to yourself that you can pass this math exam, your whole world is going to open up exponentially, because something you thought you couldn't do, you're going to prove to yourself that you can do. So that job, that promotion, going back to school, passing your T's, passing the construction exam, electrician exam, all those things, passing your ASVAB and going to the military, Air Force it was. All those things are going to open up. You got to decide what you want today. You have to decide what you want today. Am I going to put that half an hour to an hour a night for the next 30 days to pass this exam? That's it. Mr. Tinsey, I work and I'm tired. But you watched that show the other night and stayed up 2 hours. Come on now. Come on now. I know how it is. Don't tell me you can't spend an hour doing something.
I'm talking about me.
Right? Because that's real life. But what you got to understand is you gotta lay down what's important to you. And if this diploma is important to you, you gotta say, you know what? Something else got gonna have to give. You know what? I might have to DVR my favorite TV show for me to work on this an hour a day. You know what? I'm gonna catch up to that DVR on the weekend. I'm gonna catch that show.
I've been up here doing this stuff for like 3 hours, man.
So again, what did I tell you? I don't want you spending 3 and 4 hours, because then you reverse the process. What happens now is you get so deflated, you get so defeated, you get so frustrated, you actually close your brain down. What did I say? A half an hour to an hour. Now, in the case that you may not have every day to do a half an hour, then maybe you do an hour and a half, 45 minutes here, 45 minutes here. You know what I mean? You may extend the time here or there. But if you work every single day, you will see the connections between the concepts start to happen. So as Javette knows, I used to draw all these dots on the board, and then I created a smile with some of the dots, created 2 eyes with some of the dots, and made a head with the rest of the dots. So at first, it looked like a whole bunch of unrelated dots on the screen, but afterwards, it was a smiling face. What happens is, after you start spending this time every day, these concepts you'll start to see the connection. And you'll notice when they talk about constant proportionality or slope or proportion, they're the same thing. When they talk about a scale and proportions, they the same thing. You'll start recognizing these connections. You'll recognize that, hold on, Mr. Tinsey said these multiple choice, the answers are in the multiple choice. So I know it's one of these answers. So if I got the formula for height and I got everything else, and the missing multiple choices, the height, why am I doing all this algebra? Why don't I just plug the height into the formula? Wow. But you won't realize that until you're working every day. So you start seeing those connections. Listen, I'm telling you, you stick with me, give me 30, 60 days, give me half an hour to an hour a day, you're going to pass the exam. That's all I need. Go through that eBook for 2 weeks. Give me another 2 to 3 weeks taking the practice. Come to Mondays, you're going to pass. I guarantee you. If you don't, I give you your money back. I don't care about the money. I'm going to change people's lives. I want you to get a promotion. I want you to go to Air Force. I want you to pass the T's test. I want you to become a nurse. I don't care about that money. Only reason I started charging money is because nobody would come to class when it was free. When I started charging, I'm getting all the people I want. If you know me, you know it's not about the money. If you dedicate your time, I'll almost guarantee you pass the exam. I will help you pass the exam. I will make sure you pass the exam. So I went way past the time, as I always do, because you know I talk too much. But listen, what I can tell you is I posted look at my Facebook page today. I think I posted 7, 8, 9, 10 people. Look at some of the emails that were sent. You'll see it's proof in the pudding. It's proof in the pudding. I'm not trying to sell you wolf tickets. I'm not trying to take your money. I want you to better your life. That's what I'm doing this for. So when it's all and done, I can go somewhere. All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Listen,
Mr.
I
Translation.
went well with over. I'm sorry about that. I hope I
That's
hope I
okay.
Oh,
Perfect.
Apologize.
no, we need it.
everybody have
That's
a wonderful
okay.
night. If you haven't signed up for my math course, shoot me an email, and I'll send you a link to sign up for the math course. Everybody have a wonderful night.
You too.
I'm blessed that you came today, and each one of you, I will make sure that you pass your exam.
Thank you, Mr. Tansi.
Thank you.
Appreciate you,
Javette,
sir.
hold
Thank
on,
you.
don't hang up. Javette, don't hang up.
Okay.
All right. Talk to y'all.
All right.
There's not too many people in the class.